Well, my images are not showing on here, but that's okay. We're just going to pretend like they are. Okay, this is really fun. Welcome to Hooking Up. I've been wanting to do this class for a really long time. And I felt like, with Valentine's Day, it was kind of the perfect, like cheeky moment to teach this workshop. So really my goal here today is to help you guys write better hooks, because that is the thing that, like, honestly probably matters. I don't want to say most, but it kind of does. Like, you really have just a second to grab somebody's attention, and your hook is what does that, or it doesn't. So if we can write better hooks and actually grab your audience's attention, then your chances of turning them into a lead, into a follower, or into a sale increase exponentially, right? So we write better hooks, everything else kind of trickles down and improves by default, okay? So if you're new here, and I know there's a lot of new people, a lot of friendly faces, but I am Brian Williams. I'm a social media strategist and agency owner. I help businesses grow their Instagram accounts and make more sales, getting more leads and standing out from their competition. So that is what I do for a living. It's what I love. It's where you'll find me. If you're ever wondering or needing help, you will find me on Instagram. My DMs are always open. So that is my brief introduction. But what I want you to expect from our time here today, you should be able to walk away with a better understanding of what makes a really great hook, what elements you need to start testing or like playing around with in your hooks, how to never run out of ideas for hooks, and the next steps of like what to do for the rest of the week as part of this little challenge, or how I can help you. So that's kind of what we're going to cover in our time together today. I'm right up the street in Cathedral Parkway. Amazing. Okay. All right, where's my little button? There we go. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is what the heck is a hook anyway, right? I like to think of a hook as kind of like your "you had me at hello" moment, right? A hook is that thing that either gets my attention or it doesn't. So there's plenty of different types of hooks. We've got visual hooks. Like if I pop on the screen, that would be a visual hook. If I have text on my screen, that is a hook. Could be a visual, is also text hook. So there's different types of hooks. Transitions can be hooks, but really what we're going to focus on today is the text and the wording on your screen, on your reel, or a carousel that actually gets somebody's attention. That is the hook that we're playing around with today. Okay, so we've talked about what is a hook, but let's go into a little more detail about okay, so like this is what the definition technically of a hook is. It's a piece of metal or material that hooks and grabs something, right? Think of fishing, hooking, right? Something designed to catch people's attention. I love that. But if we talk more specifically about a hook in writing, a hook is an opening statement, which usually the first sentence in an essay, that attempts to grab the reader's attention so that they want to read on. Cool. So this is kind of interesting too, because it gives us some other examples of different types of hooks. So you could have a question, a quote, a statistic, or an anecdote. Think of like if you're giving a keynote speech, sometimes people will open up with, 30% of the people, blah, blah, blah. That's one way of doing it. We're going to give you plenty of strategies today to use in your hooks to grab your audience's attention. Okay. So that's what a hook is by definition. But what is a good hook? Okay, when we're talking Instagram, a good hook is simple, it's specific, it's shareable, and then the bonus is it's sneaky. Okay, I'm going to tell you what I mean by all four of these things. Simple is pretty clear. When I say a good hook is simple, what I mean is my fourth grader should be able to understand exactly what you mean and what you just said. A hook is not the time to use flowery, fancy, beautiful language. It is not the time to use all your expert words and show off, all your degrees. That is not the place for a hook. What belongs in a hook is real language. How would you say that same thing to your fourth grader? Or how would you say that same thing to your very best friend? Talk to me like I'm just your friend, like a real human would, instead of being overly dramatic or flowery or poetic, right? So instead of saying something like, I help women up level their confidence and, become the, vibrant CEO or something, right? How about you just say like, I help women make more money, or I help women start showing up and make more money. That gets my attention and I understand instantly what you're talking about. Be simple. Okay, specific. This one's pretty clear too. Hooks are not for everyone. It is not your opportunity to talk to the entire world and get them all on board with your content. You're here to talk to one person or one audience. So be specific. So an example of this, I just made a reel and I'm going to post it later, but I just made a reel about this earlier. A great example of being specific would be this. Instead of saying, here's my smoky eye tutorial, right? I'm going to teach you how to do a smoky eye. Being specific would be smoky eyes for women over 40 with hooded eyelids. That is very specific. I know instantly that you're talking to me and that this content addresses something I need. Specific. The third S is shareable. So is this something that made me laugh, that I would want to send to a girlfriend, that tugged on my heartstrings? Is it something that I would go, oh my gosh, this is that thing we're always talking about. I got to send it to my friends. Is it shareable? And then the fourth S, and this is the one that, like, if you can get this one, you're golden. If you can get this fourth S, it is sneaky. Okay, so sneaky, what I mean by that is, are you piquing their curiosity? Right? Does your hook make them go, ooh, oh my God, I need to know that. Tell me more. What's the thing? Or what does she know? I need to find out, right? She's got inside information I need. Is it sneaky? Okay, so simple, specific, shareable, sneaky. Those are your basic 4 things that if you can get those, you are like going to kill this. You're going to be a rock star. Okay, it's easier said than done. And this is kind of a muscle, but the more you do it, I promise it gets easier and easier. Okay, Amy said, should we use location specific in the hook? Depends. So if you're a realtor, and I think Amy, you're a realtor, right? Realtors, this is great. Location is great about is a great way to be specific, right? My 5 favorite neighborhoods in Greenwood, Indiana, or the neighborhood I would buy a house in today in Greenwood, Indiana, right? Very specific. It's calling in my audience. Plus, we're going to get that bonus of using a keyword of Greenwood, Indiana for my target audience. So yes, that's a great idea if you're a location specific business, a brick and mortar, like a salon, a yoga studio, a real estate office, a dentist, any kind of thing like that, brick and mortar. Okay. All right, so other things that you can kind of keep in mind for good hooks. Good hooks can be controversial, right? Like you're taking a stand on something. They're funny and sometimes shocking, right? So all of those things combined really turn into good, high quality, high converting hooks. Okay. So your hook, like I said, is really your you had me at hello moment. It's the moment I'm like, oh my God, this is for me. I need to keep reading. Or, oh my goodness, she's speaking directly to me. I've got to watch the rest of this and then send it to all 10 of my girlfriends. It's your had me at hello moment. Okay, so chances are, whatever you're sharing in your reel, in your carousel, in your social media content, chances are it is not new information, right? Like, it's Googleable. Is that a word? Googleable? We can Google it. It is probably something that I could go find 10 other influencers or 10 other Instagram accounts that could share something about that same topic. I could find it easily. It's not necessarily brand new information. Okay. Which is why it's so important that you explain it to me in a way that gets me to finally understand it or change the way I think about it, right? because what you're saying is probably not new information. If you can explain it to me in a way that I go, oh my gosh, I never thought about it that way. Or, oh, now I get it. That makes sense. If you can do that with your hook, I'm yours. You've got me. Like I'm in because you changed the way I thought about something. You gave me a new perspective, or you finally helped me understand that thing that I've been kind of like back and forth or like wrestling with, right? I finally get it now because you simplified it for me. And now I trust you. Now I'm going to follow you. And whatever you say, I'm like, cool, tell me more. I'm in. Okay. All right. So this is where we get a little, we're going to do a little show and tell. So here's what doesn't work. And I'm going to classify this to say some of this used to work and people are just kind of still doing Instagram like it's 2022-ish. It's not. It is now 2025, and some of those things no longer work here. And if you're still doing them, we're stopping that today. Okay. So here is what doesn't work. And I've tried to hide things so nobody's getting outed, right? Okay. Here's what doesn't work. These types of posts. 5 things you should do. Well, this one has multiple other problems because the grammar is all messed up and whatever, but you get my point. 5 things you should do to be more productive. That is 2002, 2003 content, and it does not work anymore. Okay. It doesn't work because you're giving me 0 reason to keep reading, 0 reason to keep watching. This is like a snooze fest. Okay. So no more 5 things, 3 tips. That doesn't work. This is another example. 5 things you need to know about ovulation. Nope, not going to do it. Not today. This one, okay, why metabolic strength keeps you strong for life. This is like the example of not being specific or not being simple. What in the heck does that mean? I can probably kind of guess. And if I watch the rest of it, she probably explains it to me in the caption, but I'm not hooked in enough to even care to watch the rest of it. What does that mean? It just kind of makes me go, huh? That's not for me. And I keep moving, right? Don't worry, I'm going to give you examples of how I would fix all of these. So you're not going to be left alone. Okay. These types of testimonials, these don't work either. Do any of us actually read these? No. We see this and we're like, oh, it's a testimonial. You're obviously going to post your best client wins in a testimonial. You're not going to tell me some story about well, she really didn't get the results or this did not work for her. Like, obviously these are going to promote your product. I get it. So I see this and instantly I keep scrolling because they're all the same. Okay. So those don't work either. Here's what does work. Okay. So this is very specific language. It's language that makes me want to know more. Magic under eye secret weapon. All right. Tell me, what is the secret weapon, the magic for my under eyes? I'm listening, right? That is very, very, that's sneaky, right? That's good, sneaky and specific language, right? This is another example of being super specific. She wakes up at 3 a.m. every morning craving chocolate chip cookies. Here's why. It doesn't get more specific than that. So if you've got a sweet tooth and you find yourself waking up in the middle of the night, like diving through the pantry, you are going to stop and read this. God, what is it? I'm dying. Please make this stop, right? I can't keep eating cookies at 3 a.m. Very, very specific. This is another example of specific and simple. Where does the contour, bronzer and blush go? That's simple. It's not like I'm going to show you how to do your makeup so that you look more Instagrammable and polished and like a professional did it. That is very specific. She's going to show me where to put the contour, where to put my bronzer, and where the blush goes. So I know right away how I'm going to benefit from paying attention to this. Yeah. Stacy says, what if you take a contrarian approach and say testimonials from my unhappy? Oh, I love that. I love that actually. Testimonials from my unhappy clients. Brilliant. And maybe it's like they're actually like, I'm so unhappy because now I've lost so much weight that I can't keep my husband off of me. Or like maybe it's like a cheeky, I love that. Great idea. See, you guys are getting it already. Okay. Let's see what other examples are in here. Okay, so let's go back to those hooks or the posts that we looked at that I was like, this doesn't work. We're going to fix them. Okay, I'm going to show you ways we could improve upon those broken hooks. Okay, this is where it gets kind of fun. And you guys can put, if you've got an idea too of what you would do to fix it, put it in the chat. Okay, so this 5 things you should do to be more productive. You could easily fix that by saying, I started doing this every morning and now I actually finish my to-do list. Right? It's clear, it's specific. You want to know instantly what that thing is that I started doing. So we got the sneaky element, right? Way more interesting than 5 things I should do to be more productive. Do we all agree? Yeah? Okay. Let's see another one. Another option that you could have done for this, the weird way I became a productive person, right? Instead of 5 things you should do to be productive, we could change it to the weird way or the surprising way or the crazy simple way I finally became a productive person. Way more interesting than what we started with. Yeah? See, it's not as hard as you probably thought it was. Okay, this one. Why metabolic strength keeps you strong for life? Do we all agree that that's confusing? If you're not a fitness professional? Yeah, okay. So a couple ways we could fix this one. Let's see. Why you absolutely need to lift weights if you're over 40. Because guarantee you that's what she's talking about, but I don't know that until I finish everything, watch the reel, read the caption. Why you absolutely need to lift weights over 40. Or we could do strength training is non-negotiable for anyone over 40. Here's why. Way more specific, way more simple. And the here's why gives me a little element of that sneaky. Yeah. Plus, if I've got a girlfriend, I'm probably going to share it with her. Leslie says, "Ooh, so much better. This is my niche too." Oh, good. Leslie, you're in just in time. Okay, so this one I actually like even better. How I revved up my metabolism in my 50s. Very specific, very shareable, because guess who else I'm going to share that with? Every one of my girlfriends that we sit around and complain about, I used to be able to eat this, or right? Super shareable, very specific. It's sneaky because what do you want to know? You want to know how. You want to know what I did that revved up my metabolism. So it's sneaky, it's specific, and it's simple. And it's shareable, right? We hit all 4 of those with that. How I revved up my metabolism in my 50s, way, way better than why metabolic strength keeps you strong for life. Yeah, are we in agreement? Okay. Stacy, yes, Stacy. She said, I think this is for the first one about the productivity. How about screw your to-do list and F productivity? Yes, that will stop the scroll, right? I love it. I love it. I love it. I don't know. Do you guys see this red line that I somehow drew on my screen? I don't know why or how that got there, but we're just going to pretend it's not there. Okay. Here's another one. This 5 things you need to know about ovulation. We could easily fix that and say what your doctor isn't telling you about ovulation. Right? Now, don't you want to know what the thing is that nobody is telling me, especially my doctor, about ovulation? Way sneakier, way more curiosity inducing than 5 things you need to know about ovulation. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So when it comes to testimonials, here's some options. And I still love the one that was in the chat of like the unhappy clients. I think that's genius. But here's some other ways I would do a testimonial. So I always like to use testimonials as a way to address objections before they even come up, right? So you know, whatever your program is, whatever your offers are, you know what the objections are, right? Somebody's going to say, I don't have the time. Someone's going to say, it's too much money. I just don't have the funds right now. Someone's going to say, I've done something like this before and it didn't work. Or I don't know, it feels like a lot, like I could just probably do this on my own, right? You know what the things are. So if you can address those common objections in these testimonials, it will not only bust those objections before they even become an issue for potential clients, it's also going to help you get more leads because people are going to go, oh, this actually works. Okay. So instead of just a generic testimonial, how my client made back her investment in just 3 weeks. Instantly, I've addressed the objection of like, oh my God, like that's a lot of money. I don't know if I can do that. What if I don't make it back? What if it doesn't work? Well, this girl just made it back in 3 weeks. So if she can do it, you can do it, right? Here's another option. Sarah was worried she wouldn't get results. Okay, so now you're already gonna kind of get me to go, okay, I want to know, did she get the results and how? Is Sarah like me? Because I want to be guaranteed that I'm going to get results too. Okay. Another really successful way I've seen this one done is, and this was kind of like a hormone weight loss niche, but really heavy in their marketing. They leaned on the fact that like 80% of their clients not only lost the weight, but had kept it off a year later. That's a biggie, right? That stat of like 80% of the people still kept the weight off 1 year later. Big, big objection buster. Hey, here's another way you can use these testimonials. She almost didn't sign up because. Go ahead and tell me why she almost didn't do it. Is it because she had like, you know, invested in other people before and didn't get the results? Is it because X, Y, or Z? Bring it up right out the gate and address it. And then it no longer becomes a thing, right? It's so much more interesting than happy client testimonial that nobody's going to read. Yes, do we agree? Are you with me? Okay. So, okay, now I'm going to share some of like my personal hooks that have worked really well. And I'm going to tell you why they worked really well. Okay. Just so I know for me personally, I can tell you all these things, but I need to see examples. That's how I learn. So I'm going to show you examples and give you like what I'm talking about. Okay. So, oh no. Well, it would help if you could see the actual thing, but the pictures aren't there. Oh no. Okay. Well, we'll go back. So I can tell you what this one said. The picture that should be on your screen next to curiosity says, it's my #1 performing carousel. It's been performing for 2 years or more. It's pinned right to the top of my Instagram profile. And the first slide of the carousel says, do not post anything on Instagram before you do this. Okay. So it instantly sparks your curiosity because you want to know what the thing is that you need to do before posting. And it works. And that post alone has brought in probably over 1,000 leads and still continues to, because it's very simple language. I give very specific, tangible examples, and it sparks people's curiosity. Okay. This one is a great example of using authority in a hook. How my student went from 116 to 56,000 followers. Instantly it shows that I've gotten results for people. Instantly I have authority in your eyes, right? The second thing it does is it's also sparking curiosity. Yeah, because don't you want to know how? It says how in my hook, so I guarantee you want to know how this happened. right? This post also probably hands down of all my posts has brought in the most leads because it points people to my bio bootcamp by showing them what a simple fix did to this girl's page. Okay. So it works if we're incorporating these ingredients. Okay. Oh, man, I really wish you could see the post that was supposed to be there. Which one is this? Humor. Oh, this one is the post I did. And I'll go back and show you guys these. This is the post I did. It's Barishnikov doing pirouettes on loop. Just turn, 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 turn over and over and over and over and over again. The hook on the screen says, not me letting my reel play over and over and over again from my husband's phone. Okay, so it's humor. It's very shareable. It's something that you would want to send to your girlfriend. Okay. And if you remind me, I'm happy to go back and show you guys all these too. Okay. These are good examples of connection. So this is kind of tugging on the mom heartstrings, letting people go, oh, she's like me. She's got young kids. Oh, she's a mom and she's running a business. So this is that connection piece. It helps my audience go, she gets me, she's like me. And not only does she understand me, she understands my problem and the solution to it. Okay. That's why these work. And they're very simple. Okay. All right. So here's some really good examples of like what we might start with as a hook and how we could transform it into something way, way, way better. All right. So if you're in the design, interior design, decorating niche, all right, instead of saying something like design tips for your living room or cozy room makeover, what if we did this instead? How I would decorate your home to feel like Anthropology. That's super, super specific, right? Because if I like Anthropology, I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, give me all the ideas and send me all the links. I want the things. I want to see what you would do and turn my house into like Anthropology vibes, right? This is another example, same niche. Kitchen makeover, but with a Nancy Meyers vibe. Super specific. If you're a fan of Nancy Meyers movies like The Holiday, you instantly know what her kitchens look like. That like they kind of become a secondary character in the movies because they're so aesthetic and so cool and so cozy and like nooks and crannies and books and textures. So if you're really into that, this post is going to instantly pull you in. Instantly, you're like, yes, show me the Nancy Meyers kitchen and how I can do it for myself. Do you see how that's so much more powerful than design tips for your living room or cozy room makeover?
Thank you.
Yeah, so much better. Okay, here's some more examples. All right, let's see. Instead of saying, I use this example a lot. Instead of saying productivity tips for busy moms, I could say, how I managed to get laundry out of the dryer as a mom of two busy kids, right? That is a very specific thing that if you are a busy mom and you're struggling with productivity, I can guarantee you that you've had laundry in your dryer for like 4 or 5 days. Guarantee. So by using that exact example and using that kind of specific, simple language, instantly you're like, okay, she's my girl, because she's not going to judge me for having the laundry in my dryer for like a week. And she's been there and she has a solution that I'm going to be able to handle. Get it? Here's another example. Dryer, more like closet annex. That's right. Yeah, totally. No worries, Jamie. Yes, there's going to be a recording. No worries. All right. So, instead of saying, I love this one. Instead of saying core workouts to shed lower belly fat, right? Okay, you're telling me what it is, but it's boring. That is so boring, so general. Core workouts to shed lower belly fat. Or Start doing these now and you'll never fake a migraine to get out of wearing a bathing suit again. Do we see the difference? Because I know that if you're dealing with lower belly fat, chances are that pool party pops up and you're like, yeah, I'm really not feeling good. I think I'm going to sit this one out. Or start doing these now and you'll be unrecognizable by summer. Way more powerful than core workouts to lose lower belly fat. I think there's another example in here too. Oh, okay, this one's the one I really like. Instead of saying how to feel more confident in your body, which of course that'd be nice. We'd all like that. How to feel more confident in your body. Or we could say this. Imagine wanting to have sex with the lights on. Which is going to get your attention? That one, right? Which really is a byproduct of this one. If I feel really confident in my body, guess what? Do you see the difference? Okay. Okay. This is our good realtor one. Okay. So instead of saying like, you see these generic like new listing photos and it's just a picture of the house with like the address, maybe 5 bedrooms, 4 baths, square footage. Again, it's the equivalent of a testimonial. Like we see it, we move right on because we don't need that. We've got Zillow, we've got Redfin. Okay. Instead of saying new listing or check out this new house in Greenwood, what if I did this instead? And I shot a reel that said, if I bought this house, this is where I'd have my coffee every morning. And I'm painting a picture for you of what it would look like to sit in this cozy nook with the sunshine coming in with my warm cup of coffee. All of a sudden, you can picture yourself in that house. Or if I bought this house, I would love sitting out here watching my kids play in this giant backyard. Like I've never seen a house with a more perfect backyard for kids. Now I'm picturing myself in that house. It's way more powerful than just saying new listing, right? Super generic, super specific, and vivid. Okay. Okay, instead of saying cute outfits for school pickup, if I'm in like Amazon influencer world, cute outfits for school pickup, what if we changed it to Carline Couture Part 1 and we turn it into a series where like 5 days out of the week, I'm giving you like 5 outfits that you could easily throw together to go get in the car line for school pickup that are easy, affordable, and comfortable. Right? Carline Couture is way more fun. It's way more sneaky, right? Because it's going to kind of get your curiosity going, like, what is Carline Couture? I think that's more fun, more interesting. Or we could do this. Instead of Amazon leggings that I'm loving, what if we said, don't tell anyone, but I've worn these leggings every day this week and you will too. Don't you want the link to the leggings? Yeah, totally. That's the difference here. Leslie said, I was like, who is Carline? That's funny. Carline, maybe it's 2 words, probably 2 words. Okay. So you see the point here, you see how we're taking something and kind of transforming it into something way more specific, way simpler, a little more sneaky, and something that's more shareable, right? Okay. All right. Okay, so these are some other little nuggets that you should try peppering into your hooks because they're really powerful and they work for really specific reasons, okay? So I shared this one earlier this week and it works. I promise you this is a biggie. Okay. Adding 2025 to the end of your hook, all of a sudden, I feel like this is more relevant. It's more current information. It's new. It's something I need to pay attention to because maybe this is different than what I was doing last year. So if you were saying Instagram tips for 2025, way more specific than just Instagram tips. I mean, that would be bad anyway, but do you see what I'm saying? What's working, you know, my makeup trends for 2025. What everybody will be wearing in 2025. Hot real estate markets in 2025. Way more urgent, way more specific, way more current. Okay, so that's one to try adding. The next one's really simple. Add the word finally to your hook. Finally, a way to blank. And if you really want to get creative and even like get extra bonus points, you could say finally a way to blank without blank. A way to desired outcome without pain point. Right? Finally, a way to grow your Instagram account without posting twice a day or without being glued to your phone. Finally, a way to lose the weight without counting calories. Got it? Okay, this one is kind of another time qualifier. So you could say in like adding in just 1 week or in 30 days or in under an hour or in 30 minutes to your hook. So like Celia does lots of recipes. She could say, a family dinner everyone will love in under 30 minutes. Or high protein meatloaf in under 30 minutes. That tells me it's going to be fast, it's going to be simple, and I'm not probably going to have to take out every pot and pan and get it done. Or you could even address that thing and say, high protein meatloaf in just one pan or with one pan. Great, cool. I don't want to make a mess because guess who's going to have to clean it up, right? So those are really good in just 1 week. How I blank in just 1 week. How I got my client blank in under 30 days. Or how my client did X in 2 weeks. Right? It's very specific. Really simple. Okay, another one I kind of tagged this one on here before, but adding without. So highlighting something that they're not going to have to go through if they take your advice, right? How to do this without that. And the without obviously needs to be something they're not keen to do, right? Something that's a pain point, right? How to lose weight without counting calories or without running or without, high intensity workouts. How to, like I said, how to grow on Instagram without being glued to your phone. Yeah. This other one's really good too, especially for building your authority and your expertise, adding your profession to the beginning of your hook. So saying something like, as a insert your profession, here's what I would do. Or as a real estate professional who sold $10 million worth of property last year, here's my best advice to first-time homeowners. It instantly gives you credibility that you have done this for X amount of years, you've gotten X amount of results, and I know that I can trust what you're about to tell me. Right? So for me, that looks like, as a social media manager, I would never post without doing this first. Right? You're more likely to take my advice because you're like, oh, she does this for a living. It's not just some girl trying to tell me what to do on Instagram. Okay. As a bakery owner, I would never bake cookies without this. Or what I always put in my cookies that makes everybody want seconds. Do you see what we're doing here? Little added goodies that you can sprinkle into your hooks. Okay. Okay, so hook hunting. This is how really you're gonna start to always have ideas and always have like things to use. Okay, so we call it hook hunting. So what you're going to do is literally just start paying attention to what gets your attention. When you're on Instagram, when you're on TikTok, and you're scrolling, what got you to stop? Was it a visual hook? Was it what they said on the screen? Stop and go, what was it about this that got my attention? And then jot it down, save it, put it in a little folder in your Instagram, like saved file that says hooks. Create a little note on your phone in your notes app that says hooks and just jot them down. This got my attention. Okay, now how can I take that same hook and spin it around for my industry or for my niche or for my business? Right? It's hook hunting. What is getting your attention is likely to get someone else's too. Okay. Okay. And this is like, all right, first I'm going to stop for a second. Am I like water hosing you guys? Is this too much at once? Are we good still? How are we all doing? So far, so good? Okay. Okay. So this is another way that you can think about your hooks, and you guys didn't know you were getting into this. This is also kind of like a bonus I'm throwing in a little bonus lesson here for you guys, and I'm going to give you my cash content strategy in your hook workshop. Okay. So hold on tight. All right. This is really though, another way that you can kind of categorize and kind of never run out of ideas. All right. We love bonuses, right? Me too. I love it. Okay. So my cash content formula, really, truly, this is, if you can kind of write this down, put it in your phone, put it on a Post-it and slap it to your laptop. If you really hold on to this formula, you will never run out of things to post. You will always be able to come up with ideas. And the combination of these 4 types of post is what is responsible for growing your account, getting you leads, and making you sales, right? Which is kind of the whole point. Yeah. Okay. So the cash content formula looks like this. The C is for connection. We've kind of talked about a few of these things earlier on. Connection is content that gets me to go, oh, she gets me. Not only does she get me, she's like me, or she understands me. She understands my problem. She understands the solution to it. Yeah. Connection content is really good for reach. So getting your views up, getting more accounts reached, really, really important to use connection content because it's highly shareable. Connection content is stuff that you often share with a friend. A lot of times it's funny, it's relatable. Think memes, remixes, things like that. That is connection content, okay? Authority content instantly shows me that you know what the heck you're talking about. So I want you to think of authority content as how I took my client from this to this, or how I lost 50 pounds in 6 months. That's authority content. It shows you that I got results. Okay. So if you go back to that post I shared earlier, how my student went from 116 followers to 56,000, that is authority content. And if you don't have students or clients yet, because that's the question I know a lot of you are thinking, if you don't have those results yet, use yourself as the example. Because probably more than likely you've been able to get results for yourself, which is why you decided to help others with that problem in the first place. How I managed to this to that. Okay, that's authority content. Authority content is really good for sales and leads. So you definitely don't want to sleep on authority content. Okay. S is for solution. Solution content is really where I'm going to share my unique methodology. Okay. So this is where I share my cash content formula. That's mine. I came up with it. It's a strategy that I can share with you. And you're like, oh, she actually has like a method. That makes sense. She's not just going to randomly give me stuff. She has a process that we're going to go through. That feels safe. It shows you that I have a solution. Talking about my offers is solution content because I'm showing you, hey, you know that thing that you keep complaining about? Here's a solution for it. Here's the thing that's going to fix it. Okay. That's really, really good for leads, growing your email list, really good with solution. And the H is for how to. Okay, so how to content, quick wins, quick tutorials. For me, that looks like how to film this style of reel or how to do this kind of edit on your Instagram post, stuff like that, right? How to content, quick wins, really short, easy, something that they can do today that's going to actually move the needle. I have found, in large part, I'm not going to say categorically, but almost to a T, the how-to content for me brings in the most followers. For me, that's for me. Connection content can be really good for that too, but how-to, I think, is also a great way to grow on Instagram, how-to content. Okay, hold on, there was a question here. I'm gonna go. Should you mix it up or always be known as the how-to or the authority? Absolutely mix it up. You've got to mix it up. Because if you're only doing how-to content, I'm not going to get that authority, and I'm maybe not even going to get that connection, depending on how you're delivering those tutorials. I may not ever really feel that connection piece. Having the mixture of it is what makes this feel organic and less salesy. It feels less forced. It just feels like, oh my gosh, she really helps me. Every time I go on her page, I learn something. It's really valuable. And like, holy moly, look at the results she's getting. I need to work with her. It's a mixture. But here's the cool thing. Now that you know those pieces, you know which piece is most likely to get you which result, right? If I know I want reach, I need more eyeballs, I'm going to lean into connection content. If I know I need to really make sales and like work on leads and sales, I'm going to do authority and solution content. Okay, so if you know which type of content brings which result, then you can strategize. Okay, I've got a launch coming up. I want to grow my list right now. Cool. Guess what? I'm going to use solution content. I'm going to mix in how to so that I get those leads. Does that make sense? It's all a strategy. It's all a strategy and all a bit of an experiment. Okay. Okay, hold on here. Okay. All right. So here, these were the examples I gave you of like connection content, right? Where it's really, really letting moms know that like, hey, I'm a mom too. I have the same struggles you do. I get it, right? Like saying something like moms need a different strategy to build a business. What works for them may not work for us. Yeah, I need to be able to do things in car line in my couture leggings. So again, connection is highly shareable, very relatable, and often humorous, right? So here's some other examples of that connection. Man, I hate that these things did not pop up for you. Remixes, memes, these are all really good for connection. So like these are a couple posts that went viral for me. The Julia Louis-Dreyfus, all I did was add text on the screen that said my plan for addressing trolls and haters in 2025, and it like blew up. Okay. Blew up because everybody knows who that is. It was funny. It was relatable. Everybody wanted to share it to their stories and to their friends. Okay. That's connection. Another one, the other one that went really viral for me before in like November was the Home Alone one. And it pulled in moms by saying, hey, mom, if you feel like you're failing as a mom, just remember she did this twice. And it was the girl, the mom from Home Alone going, Kevin, like realizing she left her kid, at home and she's on the plane. So those types of things, really shareable connection content. Okay. Great for getting more reach. Okay. Okay. Oh, let's move on to the next one. Authority content. Gosh, that's driving me crazy. Sorry, guys. So authority content, again, how my student went from this to this, how I grew my account from this to this, how I was able to build my business to X result in under this amount of time. Those are authority pieces of content. Or again, using that qualifier that says, as a social media manager, I would never do this. Or as a social media manager, I always do this before I post. Again, that's showing and like using my authority in the hook in the content, right? So it's social proof, it's testimonials, but in that new way that we talked about doing them. It's results, either personal results or client results, and it's reminding people of your expertise. As a graphic designer for 30 years, I would never create a logo like this, or here's what you need to know before you make a logo. I'm going to listen because you said you've been a graphic designer for 30 years. You with me? Okay. Solution content. So these pieces of content are very specific to your frameworks, your offers, and your unique methodology. Okay. So when I say something like steal my cash content strategy, that is one of my frameworks. Right? When I talk about the 6-figure social system, that is one of my frameworks. It's my strategy for growing your account, for helping you become a 6-figure CEO, right? I'm talking about my unique solutions that can help you. Some of them might be free. Some of them I might give you in the content, like my cash content, like here it is. Here's the framework. Go use it. Get those results, right? Chances are you're going to want me to help you like fine tune that and finesse it for your specific business. And I know that. So I'm okay with giving you the framework. Some of them, I'm not going to give you the whole framework. I'm just going to say, look, I have a system. If you're ready to grow or become a 6-figure CEO, I got you. We got a whole thing for you. That's 6-figure social. Unique methodologies, frameworks, and your offers or sales. Okay. Does that help a little bit, Trisha? She said, Marcy said, can you talk about the difference between the solution and the how-to? Yeah. So solution really is like your unique methodology. How-to would be more like how to write a hook would be a how-to content for me. Where steal my cash content is a solution piece of content. If I said, how I film come with me and we're going to shoot B-roll in 5 minutes. That's how to. I'm going to show you how I shoot the B-roll, how to make it simple, how to get so much content done in like 10 minutes. That's how to. So for you, Marcy's a Pilates instructor. So solution would be like your specific Pilates for back pain course. Talking about your unique methodology of walking them through dealing with back pain through Pilates. Okay, that's solution content. How to would be like how to perform a plank without killing your back. Or how I help my clients do this particular movement without back pain. Or how to sit at your desk so that your back doesn't hurt later. Does that make sense? So it's like a quick win rather than giving them your whole strategy. Okay. And then here's your how-to stuff. So, and some of these, like I said, some of these are going to piggyback in different categories because a lot of my content kind of crosses all 4 of those categories. Showing you what, like this as a social media manager, I would never post a reel without doing this. That was a how-to, a tutorial where I showed you how to download your reel before you post it. Literally showed you, push this button, go to this screen, save it here. It's simplifying step by step what you need to know to save yourself grief and time later. This other one, these carousels are getting big results right now. I walk you through how to create the viral, like new format of carousels, photo carousels with text on the screen. I show you slide by slide how to do it, where to go in your phone, what button to push, literally walking you through the app as I do it. Hooks that work in 2025. Again, showing you how to do something. And something very, very simple that you can literally watch and then go do it. That is the goal for me. Every time I give you a how-to, I want a quick win for you. I want you to be able to go and do that thing I just showed you today. And I want you to go, oh my gosh, dang, that actually worked. Or, whoa, okay. I didn't expect it to work that well or like to get me that result. That was cool. What else do you have? That's what we're going for with how to, right? Okay. The other thing you really need to know about this how-to stuff, do not assume that everybody knows everything you do, right? It would be really easy for me to assume that you guys know how to shoot B-roll. Guess what? Lots of people don't know what B-roll is. Okay. So if I just assume that everybody already like, oh, that's easy, like it's B-roll. Well, guess what? I just lost half of you because you don't even know what B-roll is. Don't assume that everybody knows the things that you take for granted and find really simple. Some of sharing those little how-tos and those tutorials will be your biggest wins because people are going to be so grateful. Okay. Okay. So to kind of recap, before you post, you're going to ask yourself, is this simple? Is it clear? Like, is it simple enough that my fourth grader would understand it? Is it specific? Is it, really calling out a specific person, a specific audience? Is it relatable or shareable? And is it sneaky? Would I want to know more? Okay, simple, specific, shareable, sneaky. Those are the 4 biggies. If you can hit those, you are like literally, you're going to crush it. All right, so your next steps. I'm going to drop the, I think I dropped it. It's at the top here, if I can find it again. The Facebook group, where is it? Here we go. Use the Facebook group this week. I'm in there all week. Can I copy it? Okay, I'm going to drop it down here again. Putting it in the chat for you, just in case. This is the link to the Facebook group. It's in your chat. Hop in there, introduce yourself, make some friends, make some connections. But really importantly, use me this week. Put your ideas for your reels that are coming up or content that you're creating. Drop the video in there and say, what should I say? That's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to go here's what I would say. Here's a couple of options. Pick one of these or pick all 3 and test a few of them out on trials. See which one performs better. Okay. Use that group because I think, oh, whoops, sorry. Thanks, Tracy. Oh, she got it. Okay, perfect. Yeah, use that group so that I can help you with your hooks specifically. Okay, that's why I put that group open. It's open till Friday, so use it. And if you feel like you need kind of like more support with this, I'm obviously always here for you. That's what Six Figure Social does on a weekly basis. So that's my membership. So every Monday you get a list of hooks that I would recommend using this week. So I call them hooks and or real prompts. Sometimes I'll tell you, shoot this, put this here, do this. Here's the video. Here's the graphic. Here's the audio. Go do it. But hooks every week on Mondays, you get a whole big old list of them. And sometimes I break them out by niche. Sometimes I say these are good for anybody, like any niche, this will work. You get weekly trending audio. There's a monthly group coaching call. There's monthly workshops that you get for free. Plus you get all of my, what I call neuro hacking to 6 figures stuff. So this is stuff like, we have somebody coming in to do a guided hypnosis for us to help you become your 6-figure self. We do like stuff with manifestation and mindset, all sorts of stuff. Everything you could need is in there for you, plus a network of pretty awesome people to kind of bounce ideas off of and just have supporting you in your business. So if you want more information about that, I'm happy to send you the link. It's $37 a month. You can cancel anytime, like 0 commitment really. And let me drop that in the chat for you somewhere. Hold on here. Must stop the share. Ba, ba, ba. Where are ya? Here we go. Where is it? 6 Figure Social, copy. I'll drop it in the chat so you guys can, let's see. I don't know if that's going to go to everybody or not. let me know if you see that or if I didn't put it to the whole group, but that is the link for Six Figure Social, or you can shoot me a message. I'm always happy to help. Okay. I want to be mindful of all your guys' time, but if anybody has questions, I'm happy to answer. I'm happy to kind of walk you through what you're working on, help you with your specific hooks. If anything was unclear, holler at me and let me know. What can I help you with?
Was
Lisa.
super clear. Thanks, Bree.
Oh, good. Good. I'm so glad, Marcy.
Hi,
Lisa, do you have a question?
I do.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
So I've just been pivoting with two audiences,
Okay.
and I'm not sure which way to go. So I kind of started staying away from social media because I'm not clear about my message. Do you think that this might be a little too soon for me? Do I need to like sort myself out first before I can move forward?
Well, either way, I mean, no matter which audience you're talking to, this is a skill you're going to have to learn either way, right?
Right.
What are your two choices that you're kind of between?
Yeah, so I work with women using wisdom of astrology, and I've had two groups. One is people who are highly sensitive, who are empaths, who want to create boundaries so they don't feel like they're being drained by energy vampires. And then I've had another group of women who want to impact, like their romantic relationships. So yeah, I've been I've had like beta programs for those two different groups. So
Okay, which of those groups do you feel like most excited by working with?
I'm most excited about working with empaths, but I also find like it's hard to find them, maybe because maybe might be my messaging.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely say part of that's your messaging because they're there for sure.
Mhm. Oh
Because
yeah,
I
for
see
sure.
stuff and I don't like identify as an empath. I mean, on that like highly sensitive level.
Hmm.
But I see stuff come across my feed talking about that. So I know they're there. So I think there's probably a way too where you could even, helping empaths with their relationships. Like I'm sure they probably need, that kind of support as well. Um, Here's the good news. Like you're never locked into something like on a permanent forever, like this is now your life's work situation. You
Hmm.
get the opportunity to pivot and change at any moment. That's the beauty of being in your own business and having a personal brand. So if you go way back on my Instagram, I used to own a Pilates studio and all my content is Pilates. That's all it is. So clearly my page is no longer a Pilates page, right? But I was allowed to pivot into different business models as I grew and evolved. You get to do that same thing. Some of the people will come along with you for the ride, and some of them will go, oh, this is not for me anymore. That's cool. But you'll get new people to replace them and grow. So
Right.
I wouldn't stress out too much about like, oh my gosh, what if I make the wrong choice? There is no wrong choice. There's only what you choose and what you didn't. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. So what I'm
Yeah.
taking away is I can just pursue that, like lean into empaths because maybe I wasn't just saying the right things in the past. So I'm
I would
gonna
almost
go.
guarantee you weren't saying the right
Yeah.
things because yeah, it literally all of this is language. That's all social media really
Yeah.
is. At the end of the day, it's communication, right? It's how can I say what I mean in a way that gets their attention and gets them to go, oh my gosh, like she's my person. Like I need to follow this account, or this is great. I need more. Um, and it's a skill, right? That magnetic messaging takes a
Hmm.
minute to kind of like become second nature. For me now, like I can look at a piece of content and go, okay, why don't we say it this way instead? Like I can take a hook and go, let's turn it around and make it this and make it way better. So that's just how my brain thinks. But
Right.
it wasn't always that way, right? That's a
Right.
skill that I've developed. But once you kind of know the framework of it, right? You kind of know what are the four things you need to make a hook really good. You know those things now. So now it's going to be easier for you to go, hold on, I can make this better. Hold on, is this really calling out empaths? Is this really how they talk? Is this really what they say about themselves? When that is true, those people will come in more easily. Does that
Okay,
help a
cool.
little
Thank
bit?
you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, let's see. Bye, Marcy. Good. I'm glad everybody got something out of this. That's awesome. Okay. Any other questions while you've got me?
Do you happen to have like a recap sheet of like the most important things, Bree?
I'll drop something like that into the Facebook group. I
Yeah,
don't have
I was
it.
just thinking because I have a couple of social media people on my team, it might be useful to just remind them.
Yeah, I mean, really, if you can take those two things, I would write down the 4 S's, the simple, the specific, the shareable, and the sneaky. Write
Yes, it
those down
is.
with like a brief, here's what that means. Put it on a Post-it and
Good.
slap it on everybody's laptop or computer screen. And then the
That's
other
hard
thing
here
is
in the
that cache
Philippines.
content formula.
Yeah.
Write that down. So those are the 4 types of content. This is how I'm going to talk about that content, right? So if you kind of have those 2 things to mess with, creating content is going to be way easier.
Okay.
Yep. And
And those are
almost
exactly what I wrote.
always you'll be able to write a hook and then go, hold on. I bet we can tighten this up. I bet we can make this more specific. I bet we can make this more whatever, right? So
So it was specific, simple, sneaky, and what was the 4th one?
shareable.
Shareable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other last minute questions? Such gold. Oh, that's so awesome. Thanks, Elsa. I love it. Love it. Yeah, it really, at the end of the day, it's pretty basic. It's pretty simple stuff. It's just a matter of like implementing it, right? It's really easy to make social media and make all of this stuff way more complicated than it needs to be and let it be overwhelming. That's my job, to kind of help you simplify it and take the overwhelm away, right? I'm going to tell you what works. I'm going to tell you what doesn't work. And you have my word. I will always be transparent with you. Say, here's what I'm doing. Here's what's not working. Here's what is working. Here's what I recommend. So 0 gatekeeping. That's always my thing. Simple. Once you know, terror when you don't. Yep, just like anything else, right? Okay, Stacy, what was your question? I don't see it. Let me see. Oh, okay. If you want to, quote, avoid dealing with beginners or non-ideal clients who don't speak your language, wouldn't it be better to use language targeted toward your ideal clients so you don't waste time with poorly matched leads? Okay, yes. Okay, this can get you in a little bit of a trick bag though. Okay, so can you give me an example of what your niche is, Stacy? Concierge medicine. Ooh, awesome. Okay. Yeah. So if you're talking concierge medicine and you want to avoid people who are not ready to work with you, I would say high end is your thing. So these are like, this is a luxury market. Because nobody's working with concierge doctors that can't afford it, right? That's a luxury. So, I would really highlight the benefit of being able to have somebody on call. You're never going to sit in a waiting room. You're never going to have to wait for an appointment. You're never going to have to wait to be seen. All of that stuff is going to be taken care of for you. Which is, I mean, that's amazing. Pro sports players, super, super cool. So, highlighting like the benefit of that and the luxury of having a doctor literally come to your living room, right? Like my friend does all the, her husband has lots of health issues. So they have somebody come all the time that does like all of his IVs and all of his things. And she comes right to their house, sits next to him on the couch and hooks him up. And it's amazing, right? And I think more and more people are looking for that and looking for these alternative solutions to kind of like our busted medical system, right? Nobody wants to wait forever in a waiting room full of sick people. Nobody wants to do all of those things, right? So highlighting what you do and the benefit of it is huge. But so when I'm talking about using language that is like super like flowery or advanced. Like you don't need to talk about, you don't need to use medical terms to get me to understand that I want a concierge doctor. Does that make sense? Like I don't need to, like, you don't need to use terms that are like insider jargon. Like if you're talking, I'm not a doctor, so I'm trying to think of an example. It, I see this a lot with honestly, like a lot of spiritual entrepreneurs, a lot of, it can happen with yoga teachers, people that do like yoga and Reiki and those types of things. We get really out there in our wording and it's beautiful. And I get it. I understand what you're coming, the mission, and I understand like you're coming from a place of service, but you are losing a lot of people because they don't know. Right. And Stacy, you need to understand too, that there's a lot of people that have the money to pay for this and they don't even know it exists. Right? So if you can still educate people that this is an option, this is an alternative, you don't want to alienate those people that maybe don't even know about it yet. So just keep your language simple and speak to the desired result, right? I want somebody that I can call at 9 p.m. that's like, cool, it'll be at your door in 30 minutes. Or I've already called in the prescription, you're good. Like, I'm going to see all 4 kids, whatever it is, right? Like that's a luxury and that's like so valuable for so many reasons, time, money, just overall wellness, like convenience, all of those things. Yeah, you just want to avoid using like medical terminology, insider jargon, and really flowery kind of esoteric language that somebody might go, what? What is that? What does that even really mean? You know what I mean? I know I'm kind of being vague. I wish I could give you a really more specific example. But do you know what I mean when it comes to like the spiritual entrepreneurs? Have we all seen that kind of content where you're like, okay, I don't really know what that means, but sounds good. You know what I mean? You're talking about like balancing your energies and your chakras so that you can be the most aligned version of your highest self. Okay, well, what does that? I don't know what that means. So tell me what it really means. You know what I mean? And that's where we get in a trick bag with anything medical, anything, very specific or niche. You got to avoid that language. I hope I answered your question. All right. Anything else? Anybody? As soon as this recording is like buffering and done, I will upload it and send you guys all the replay, and I'll put it in the Facebook group too. If you're in Six Figure Social, it'll go up in there too. So you'll have kind of access forever to that. And my DMs are always open, you guys. You can always shoot me a message. Hey, help me with this. Can you help me? What do I say? How do I write this hook? But use that Facebook group this week. I'm in there. Make some friends. There's some really cool people here. And yeah, I promise you won't regret it. But it's been so good to see your faces. This was fun. I hope it was helpful. And yeah, I'm always rooting for you, always here to help. Cool? All right. Bye, guys. Go have a wonderful rest of your day. See ya.